Before I begin, be sure to like the video and leave a comment on what you think of it. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to keep up with further audiobook readings.
Chapter 10. Buying your net worth instead of building it. Net worth is vastly over-promoted in the financial world. We know people who talk about net worth all day long as this great indicator and measure of wealth. And yes, it is an indicator, but every business owner knows that if you can't access your net worth in times of need, then it's relatively worthless. If you can't get to your money, then it doesn't count for much. If you want net worth that you can actually access, that is actually really yours, then we'll tell you something that may surprise you. You don't want to build your net worth, you want to buy it. So many people spend so much time worrying about building a nest egg. They think, I've got to create, save, and build millions of dollars. How much risk do I need to take on? How much time will it take? Where do I put my money? In fact, you can get that nest egg right here and right now through a whole life insurance death benefit. As we discussed last chapter, your death benefit provides almost innumerable benefits to you while you're living, and a nest egg is one more huge benefit that a death benefit provides. How much money would you have to put away if you wanted to have a $5 million nest egg? How many market swings would you have to survive, and how much would you have to risk? How many fees would you have to pay, and how much time, effort, stress, and worry would you have to endure to make it all happen? That's why, instead of trying to build net worth, buy it. If you buy a whole life insurance policy with a guaranteed $5 million death benefit, you have instantly added $5 million to your estate. When you die, your estate will inherit $5 million. You can now rest assured that you have your $5 million nest egg ready and waiting and still utilize your net worth during your lifetime. Building a net worth is not easy. We've shown how difficult it is to create and grow wealth when you're handling your money in such a way that it is subject to eroding factors like taxes and inefficient loans, or using strategies that are dependent on the stock market. So many people, when they get to their retirement, just don't have the lifestyle that they'd hoped for initially. Between all the moving targets of interest rates, taxes, inflation, the markets, it can be almost impossible to navigate and predict what your net worth will be when you retire. But there is one thing that is certain and predictable: death. By purchasing a death benefit through whole life insurance, you have a future sum of money that is contractually guaranteed from day one. If you put a deposit down right now, you would know that you controlled $1 million or $2 million or $5 million death benefit, and you would know that money would be there in the future. Now, most people think of that money only as what's going to be left behind to someone else when you pass away. But we hope by this point we've shown that a death benefit can be much more than that. When Garrett's dad retired, he could have used the option of taking a low pension and preserving the money for Garrett's mother if he died first. But instead, because he had a death benefit, he was able to take his maximum pension. He didn't have to worry about affecting his net worth by spending his full pension, because Garrett and his dad had bought his dad's net worth in the form of that death benefit. They didn't try to build it. They didn't try to take on risk in order to grow his net worth. They didn't have to wait and build and wait and build. They just got a contract that said, hey, here's an amount of money that you can count on having at retirement. The fact that you can buy your net worth rather than building it can be hard to wrap your mind around. We tend to think of the money we build up as our real money. When you put $1 in your 401k and $1 shows up in your 401k, most people think of that as real money. However, in reality, it's actually FBO, or for benefit of. It's not actually yours. You are a beneficiary, not the owner of the program. The government is actually the owner of the program. Moreover, if you want to take that dollar out of your 401k, you have to pay taxes on it. Does that sound like a dollar that actually belongs to you? That tax may be 30% plus another 10% penalty. If you try to take out and utilize your dollar, you'll find that you only actually have 60 cents. And yet we still have this false sense of security based on that statement that comes in the mail and tells us how much of our money we've saved up. There's still the warm, comfy blanket that makes us go, "Oh look, there, that's my money." When in fact, if you tried to access that money, you would run into all sorts of hurdles and end up with a lot less than you thought you had. Whole life insurance is always honest. If your statement says you have no cash value, you have no cash value. And if your statement says you have $10,000, then that is $10,000 you can take out the next day and have in your hand. The money you have in a whole life insurance policy is actually your money. Buying your net worth also has another major advantage over building your net worth. You can do it right now. Building your net worth takes time. But if you're older and you don't have as much time, you can buy your net worth instead. You can secure a 100% income tax-free asset that can be passed on to the next generation and that you can utilize in order to live fully and access your net worth in your later years, Rockefeller style. Garrett met with his grandmother when she was about 70 years old. She and Garrett's grandfather were angry because they had reached the age where there were required minimum distributions on the 401k. When you reach 70 and a half, you have to take out a certain percentage from your 401k, otherwise you get hit with a 50% penalty as well as taxes on that percentage. Garrett's grandmother was understandably frustrated, so Garrett recommended that they take the money and allocate it into an insurance policy. And guess what? When Garrett's grandmother died, she had an extra $250,000 that was left tax-free to her 5 kids. Garrett's grandparents came from a small coal mining town with less than 1,000 people, and here they were passing down an extra $250,000. That is 6 times more than the value of their home. Even better, they were able to live out their last years not worrying about whether the market was up or down, and they were able to access and utilize their net worth to live fully, happily, and with certainty that they would not run out of money or leave nothing behind to their children. Michael had some clients referred to him recently that were approaching retirement within 4 years. The clients had bought term and invested their difference. They had the difference and had no life insurance when Michael met them. They felt they were self-insured at that point. Their plan was to go into retirement with their assets providing an income for them. However, they didn't want to take any risk whatsoever on their retirement savings. Their plan when they got to Michael was to allocate into a bond-type portfolio when they retired, which would yield them somewhere around 2.5% a year in interest. They quickly learned that they could buy their net worth with a whole life policy funded to match their goals to retire. This new death benefit gave them the permission to put a large portion of his retirement into a special guaranteed annuity that paid them 7% a year guaranteed, almost 300% more spendable income for them. All the while, the new death benefit guaranteed the surviving spouse the same amount of income, essentially buying their net worth. When you buy your net worth, you create and insure your future. It increases income opportunity for your existing assets, helps with wealth capture and wealth creation, and means you can stop gambling and putting money toward things that don't make sense. Cash flow insurance allows you to buy your net worth and know with confidence that the money is there, is secure, is growing, and that it is, without question, yours. This is exactly what the Rockefellers have done. The Rockefellers were able to earn and produce to start their fortune. For generations, they have utilized cash flow insurance to perpetuate the wealth inside of the family trust, despite the enormous amount of estate tax they face when the money is passed from generation to generation. You can ensure your legacy by buying your net worth and by ensuring there will be tax-free money to fund your trust. So buy your net worth and pass it on again and again.